It's the Orioles on Masson. We're at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg as the Orioles and Tampa Bay Rays get set to open up this three-game weekend series. The O's go back in the division against an AL East opponent. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. Thanks so much for joining us as the Orioles' third stop on this three-city, 11-game road trip. For the Orioles this year, among the many challenges has been scoring runs and scoring runs consistently. The lineup that was put together, all with track records, just hasn't produced as was expected. But certain hitters are showing signs of breaking out, and among those is Adam Jones. Adam has had a fabulous road trip, and he's really putting together a solid month of May. Adam in the number 2 spot, you see the numbers, 324 average with 11 hits on the road trip, both leading the O's on the trip. He has 26 base hits this month. That leads the O's. Yesterday, he had a 3-hit game in Chicago. He now has 8 games this year with at least 3 hits. That is second most in the major leagues. And Jim, Adam Jones really has been the guy on this team that they've looked to in the past. And when he starts to turn it on, the hope is it'll have some effect up and down the lineup.
Well, you talked about the May, having such a good May, 28 hits. The Orioles have scored almost a run more in the month of May, and he's, of course, one of the reasons. The constant, of course, is Manny Machado. But, Adam's in a free agent year, unless the Orioles end up extending his contract, so to speak. And his average is usually, about 278, maybe the last couple of years, 285. He's going to hit 28 home runs. He's going to drive in somewhere between 85 and 100 runs. Well, he's on a pace because we're at game 40 to do a little bit better than that. And a lot of guys can't do that because you try a little bit too hard or maybe you're overswing. So I think yesterday we saw all the capabilities on this road trip. And of course, yesterday, singles, home runs, the fact he plays very well. So, right here, the Orioles, of course, they get beat 11-1 on Wednesday night. They're looking for a win. Starts it off with a base hit. They'll get 3 runs in the first inning, second inning. Mancini already had a home run, and the wind's blowing 30 miles kind of into the wind, and Dangle makes a great effort, loses the ball and the glove. Adam gets his home run, 8th home run of the year. And, of course, they go on, third inning, just a hanging slider, hits that in the left field. Meanwhile, Dylan Bundy's on his way to a complete game, striking out 14. So this is what he brings to the table. I said today, you must get a lot of extra meal money because I don't get any meal money. I need to get some meal money at home because I need to hit better at home.
Well, the Orioles arrive here in Tampa Bay, and a very interesting pitching weekend for the Rays. As the pitching matchups, the Orioles are sending 3 starters. However, the Rays are sending 3 relievers.
Well, they are. It's going to be David Hess against Sergio Romo, who went 588 relief pitches until he got a start last week against the Angels. Cashner's going to pitch against Stanek, who throws 98 miles per hour. Kevin Gausman against Romo again because all Kevin Cash is trying to do. You asked Brian Anderson before the game, who does the television for him, how many healthy starters they have. They have Archer and they have Snell, who's pitched really well. Other than that, they're trying to kind of piecemeal their way through. And it's not about being, as Kevin Cash, and we'll get to that quote, being cute or whatever. They're trying to come up with answers. And the one thing about Romo, he dominates right-handers. What are the first 5 hitters for the Orioles? Right-handers. They're only hitting, 196 off them. Lefties are 360. So think about this. If you're Kevin Cash, you want to match up. If he pitch later, you might pinch hit. You know who you're going to get. He's very effective and you're going to start in a clean inning. 250 with runners on, 200 when you're not. So you're trying to win. You're trying to, again, Yarbrough, who's going to pitch for him, he's pitched real well. So you just try to get through the first innings. It's still a matter of getting 27 outs and having more runs than the other team. It makes sense to me.
Well, let's open up our MLB notebook, and here's what they're saying about what the Rays are doing. Kevin Cash, the skipper, we're not trying to do anything that's cute. We're trying to do something that's right for us to win games. And how about Sergio Romo? Hey, guys, I'm starting again. It's fun. We're trying to win ball games. I'm going to try and do my best to make them look like geniuses. And again, this is by necessity. It's not that they're trying to set a trend.
No, and, it's a trend for them because, Odorizzi's pitching for the Twins. He won 10 games for him last year. Cobb's pitching for the Orioles. They need starters. They just made a trade to Seattle that we'll talk about during the game. So they're looking for ways to be competitive. They are. They're 23-25. This is a team that gave away 38 home runs to Morrison, 27 home runs to Dickerson, 30 home runs to Souza, trying to get and look for the future. And you're still able to stay around 500. Now, obviously, that's not going to win the American League East, but it gives them a chance to be competitive, and they've done a nice job with that.
Now, the Orioles tonight will send right-hander David Hess. This will be his third Major League start, and Jim, for him, for the first time, he faces an opponent for the second time.
Well, he's just happy to be in the big leagues. We ran out, came out on the bus with him. His first start is against the Rays. He gives up, a couple of singles, a 3-run home run to Duffy in the first inning, but then he settled down. Meanwhile, the Orioles got him, I think 6 or 7 runs that game. You could see sliders, good fastballs, 92 to 94, throws a lot of strikes. This is up in Boston. He would make 3 mistakes, and of course, one of the best hitting lineups in the American League are the Red Sox. So I think you learn sometimes by failure. He's got a good fastball. He throws a lot of strikes. Sliders his second best secondary pitch, and as he gets more starts, and hopefully if he continues doing what he's doing, he's probably going to get those. He'll work on the changeup. But a very bright young man. It's great to have him have some success, and hopefully tonight he'll give them a chance to win. That's pretty much what your job is if you're pitching for any major league team.
And pitching here at Tropicana Field, this really is one of the best pitchers ballparks in the American League, maybe in all of baseball. And the key for David Hess, keep the ball in the ballpark.
Well, I told him on the way out, he rode out with Joe Angel and I on the bus. I said, listen, this is the only hitter's ballpark in the American League East, but you still have to pitch well. And I think he's learned his lesson. He's given up 4 home runs. They've all been on fastballs. 2 to J.D. Martinez, who's one of the great hitters in the American League, but they've all been mistakes in the middle of the plate. Stay out of the middle of the plate, take your chances. Pretty good offense for the Rays because they kind of use the whole field, but all in all, this is a good place to pitch. This is not one of your typical Yankee Red Sox lineups. Let's hope he has success.
So tonight it's game 1 in this 3-game weekend series as the Orioles continue this 3-city 11-game road trip. We're coming back to the Trop. Lineups and first pitch are next. That's transparency. And by Acura, visit your local Baltimore Annapolis Acura dealer for attractive offers on the thrilling Acura lineup. In St. Petersburg, Florida, let's get a look at our game time temperature brought to you by BGE Home. We know more, we do more. 73 degrees inside because it's climate control. We are in the dome, but outside it is 94% humidity. So fortunate to be inside as the Orioles open up this 3-game weekend series. Final stop on this very long 11 games in 11 days 3-city road trip. And here's Trey Mancini leading off. Romo, a slider, and there's a strike. And our Southwest starting lineup brought to you by Southwest. Low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Adam Jones in the #2 spot. Good numbers against the Rays. Machado, Scope, Valencia. Davis, Gentry, and Susac with Joey Rickard in right field batting ninth.
Yeah, Trey with a home run yesterday down the left field line. Yeah. So Sergio Romo, you just kind of saw what you're going to get. He's thrown 2 pitches, 2 sliders. That's what he does almost 60% of the time. He's got the other pitches. He dominates right-handers. They're hitting 196, lefties at 360. That's why he's pitching. You know, he did it against the Angels in two consecutive games.
You know, there's another slider. It's hit to third. That's Matt Duffy. And 1 down.
So again, a veteran guy, you know, they're the numbers we talked about. So if you're Kevin Cash, you know, at least in this lineup, the Angels 98% of the time, the first 4 hitters are right-handed. You know, you know what you're going to get. He pitches better, as we said in the open. He pitches better with runners not on. When you start a game, there's nobody on. They're at 200, 250 when they come on. So you match up and you hope that he pitches well, which he did against the Angels. You know, the second time, what I think Kinsler, who led off, he got a base hit, stole a base, but he got out of the inning because they brought in Andries. But again, it's a matchup. You got to get somehow score more runs than the other team and get 27 outs and have the lead. So this is a veteran guy. You know, he was on the World Championship Giants. You know, when they won their 3 World Championships, he can close. They got him last year when he was not pitching well for the Dodgers, picked him up, and he's done a nice job for him.
Slider misses outside.
Isn't it kind of funny? We were actually here when when Eric Neander, who actually is the general manager and vice president of baseball operations, said he still has something left. So he had a 6.12 ERA with the Dodgers.
That slider hung a little bit, and Adam rips it into left field for a base hit.
I don't think that the way he's swinging the bat on the road in this 11-game series, that doesn't matter if it's low and away, up and in, or whatever. He's going to have a good swing at it. And then you exacerbate the chances of getting a base hit just by hanging one.
All right, so let's get a look at the history here. Most career relief appearances before making your first major league start. Troy Percival had the record, 638. Todd Jones in Colorado, then Chuck McElroy with the Orioles finally made a start with the O's, and Sergio Romo 588 relief appearances before that start you talked about in Anaheim. So here's Manny with a man on him, 1 down. That may have been the fastball. Manny fouls it off.
Well, he threw one to Adam at 88. That one at 87. Yeah, so again, Manny, you can see the road trips good in Boston. You know, hit a home run when the Orioles win in Chicago, and then yesterday 3 bases hits, kind of mixed in an 0 for 9 in between. One of those 0-fers in a game where the Orioles lost by 10 runs, so maybe you lose a little bit of interest.
Well, Machado on Tuesday and Wednesday, as Jim describes, he went hitless in both those games, and it's the first and only time all year he's gone hitless in back-to-back games. He was so angry yesterday he had 3 hits. This one off the end of the bat to right field. That's Johnny Field out there. And he's got it for the out. 2 down. Jones bluffs going.
Well, take a look at the Rays defense. Ref Snyder in left, Smith in center, Field in right. It was actually going to be Denard Span, and he got traded. Duffy, Robertson, Wendell, Miller, and then Ramos doing the catching. He's been red hot with the bat. Hits the Orioles well.
That's Ryan Yarborough. He'll come on and pitch when Romo's done. The left-hander. But Showalter made sure he played his regular lineup and put his lineup against left-handed starters in there because he knew Yarborough would be coming in early in the game. Look at that slider, 0-1.
Yeah, you know he's going to throw it. He throws it at different speeds. You know, something that, you know, the front door where you throw it at a right-hander's hitter's front hip, which he just did, and then he'll sweep it away.
Romo keeping Adam close. Adam has not stolen a base all year.
I mean, you got I-75 right between first and second. Nobody even close to that side of the field. Talking before the game, and Robbie Dickerson was saying in the old days that every left-handed hitter would always have that hole in the right field. And I said, yeah, you know, they don't play as many shifts, but look at the hole you have in the right field if you're a right-handed hitter. I mean, it's there for the taking. You just have to work on it and be able to do it.
Yeah. And he got him, and it gets away from the catcher Ramos. And Scope is going to reach. There's a break for the O's. Ramos couldn't knock it down.
Well, it becomes a wild pitch the minute it hits the dirt. So he tries to backhand it. It's a ball that he should have just moved out. Wilson, a pretty big catcher, and again he tries to backhand it, doesn't do it, and the Orioles get a break here, extra out. It's funny, Romo gets the result he wants, but then when you have a catcher you can trust, boy, you got to throw that breaking ball down. And it doesn't. I'm not putting this on Ramos, but you expect that he's going to be able to block it. Couldn't do it.
So Danny Valencia will bat with 2 on and 2 down. Danny 5 out of 18 on the road trip and without an RBI. He has an RBI chance here. Another outstanding slider. Wow, that just made a right turn and broke right in there. Romo is 35 years old. He grew up in Brawley, California. And let's get a look at this, Jim.
Yeah, well, he starts again. The target's away, but it's just about the movement. And that's one of those front hip. Throw it off the right hip. You give up on it a little bit. And that keeps you honest at 86. Straightens you up a little bit. You know, Valencia, of course, the history of being, you know, a guy that wears out lefties.
A ball and a strike on Valencia.
So you know that, you know, Buck Showalter, when you know Romo's pitching, you could put some left-handers up in the front of your lineup, but you want your best hitters in the top 4 or 5 hitters anyway.
This ball's blooped in the right field. Long run for Field. He's not going to get it. It's in there for a base hit. And the O's are going to get the lead. Valencia's thinking 2. Here's Jones to score. Scope will stop at 3rd. So a bloop single the opposite way. There you go, Jim. Hitting it the opposite way. And Valencia ends up with a double.
Yeah, I think you just kind of go into the emergency hack when you're hitting the right-handed off of Sergio Romo. And it's just a fastball. He's a little bit late, but watch him stay inside. So bat head to the ball. You get lucky because it drops, and you get that extra out. Keeps the inning alive. Valencia makes it 1-0. And not only does he drive the run, and he gets into scoring position.
Well, coming into today, here's what the Rays had done in first innings of games. Only the Cardinals had given up less runs in just 1. The Orioles, on the other hand, 60 runs, the most in the major leagues. So Romo's day is done as the left-hander comes up. Pitching change at the Trop. The O's have the lead.
Wild pitch on the strikeout. That allows the Orioles to get an extra out. In a sense, Valencia loops one. He leaves. Ryan Yarbrough, he's a starter. He normally would be starting the game, and he's had a terrific year. He's not an overpowering guy. Fastball around 89, 90. Good changeup, good breaking ball. Righties, lefties hitting the same. Opponent home runs, left-handed, and he actually gives up more home runs against left-handers, and he will face Chris Davis. than he does righties. And what does Chris Davis do? He hits more home runs against left-handers than he does right-handers, which is somewhat abnormal.
Well, you see the numbers, Chris, at 152. He is 0 for his last 20.
Yeah, the other thing is, you know, you look at the Yarborough Young pitcher. He came over in the Smiley trade with Malik Smith, who's playing the outfield for him.
Yeah, yet another trade with Seattle.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, it's the Drew Smiley. I mean, Drew Smiley's been traded for everybody in the big leagues, it seems like. And he, you know, it was the 11th in 2017. And of course, what does he do? He goes 13-6 at AAA. He's a strike thrower.
And the 1-1 is hit towards short. It's a third baseman Duffy in the shift. And he'll get Davis, and that'll do it. So Yarborough gets the final out. Birds get a run. We head to the bottom of the first. David Hess of the O's with the lead. Run with a 2-out base hit by Valencia in the first. And here's the Tampa Bay lineup, a redone lineup because Denard Span was to lead off, and he's been traded to Seattle. So Miller up top now with CJ Cron in the number 2 spot. Couple of home runs and 7 ribbies already against the O's. Wendell, Ramos, and Duffy with Smith, Robertson, Field added to the lineup, and Refsnyder batting ninth.
And David Hess, kind of interested to see him. You know, pitched well against this team, his first major league start. 3-run home run in the first inning. Single home run by Duffy. Really settled down. One slider's real important. Good fastball command. Has to stay out of the middle of the plate. And then gave up 3 home runs against the Red Sox. One of them, of course, was the pesky pull by J.D. Martinez. 1 out over the plate to Martinez. That was a 2-run shot. And then the home run to Benintendi when he got behind him.
And fall behind 2-0 to Brad Miller. David Hess out of Tullahoma, Tennessee, facing Brad Miller, who's 8 for 25 against the O's already this year. That one's popped up back of the plate. Susac will run out of room.
Yeah, kind of ballpark you need help. You know, gets up there in the ceiling, all the different metal up there, the ramps. What do we call them here? The rings.
A, B, C, and D rings.
And of course, I know you know the ground rules by heart. Which ring is in play, which isn't?
No.
No.
2-1 is swung out and lifted to shallow left. Gentry was deep, a long run, and he's not going to get there, and it falls in for a base hit. Wow, was he deep for a left-handed batter. So there's a leadoff double, and it's a bloop.
Yeah, and you can't really, you know, it sounds like you're sitting at home, you're going, well, why didn't he just run in? And I mean, yeah, he doesn't. He gets a pretty good job, but he is deep. But right here, he doesn't want to play it into a triple. Because you don't play here that much. Once it's going to bounce, how high is it going to bounce? Put a new carpet here, what, about 4 or 5 years ago, so it's not like it used to be. But the Rays kind of get what they want after giving up the 1 run.
Here's C.J. Cron with Miller in scoring position. Orioles play him straight up. Over but low.
Yep. Or inside, I think. Ben May doing the home plate umpiring. Yeah. Grown with very, very good power. 4 home runs in the month of May.
Yeah, he now has 11 on the year. That one's popped up. Shallow center. Jones has to come in. And he's got it. So the runner has to hold and cannot advance. One down as Crone skies out to Jones.
Yeah, take a look at the defense. You already saw Gentry in left, Jones in center, Rickard in right, Valencia, Machado, Scope, and Davis. Andrew Susak doing the catching. Yeah, this was like the old Metrodome, Jim. It makes it a little bit more difficult to play the outfield, especially when you're trying to communicate, because you can't take your eyes off the ball. Sometimes it's hard to pick up because of the white background. There's something that I'm sure that the Rays are a little more adept than the visiting teams that come in here.
So here's the new daddy, Joey Wendell, activated from the paternity list for tonight's game.
A boy, Jack. Wife's doing well. Lindsay met him for the first time. Bob Melvin, because he comes out of the Oakland organization, spoke volumes of good things about him. They just did not have room.
Joey's having a good year. 288. Another pitch gets by him. So how about that? Susak read the bat, went back to the same pitch, and Hess executes.
Yeah, take a look at our Nissan pitch track. Let's just kind of ride the fastball. He can probably throw it. Bobby Max is out about 94 without overthrowing. Pretty good windup. I mean, that's why he's always been a strike thrower when you talk about David Hess. And when a guy's a little late on the fastball, it does set up the breaking ball, but you want to make sure it's a.
And they got him at second base. Machado sneaks in behind him.
Well, I'll tell you what, you are going to get a gold star from Bobby Dickerson, who is the infielder and third base coach, and then, of course, the manager. Great play. The little things. We saw it in the relay plays in the one of the 2 wins in Chicago by the Orioles. Mancini with 2 assists in 1 inning, just simply by, one making a good throw and the other one hitting the cutoff man.
What a good tag that was by Machado. And the 0-2 is hit through the middle. There's a base hit, so it may have just saved the run. As Wendell gets on with a 2-out single.
It's funny, the Orioles get an extra out, and the Orioles defensively take an extra out from them by the pickoff. You just don't see that happen very often. It's not that Brad Miller's a bad base runner. You always want to get that good secondary lead, and the Orioles take advantage of it.
Here's Wilson Ramos, who brings a 5-game hitting streak into tonight's game. And has that average now above 300 at 301.
Well, he's big and strong, and he's got home run power to all fields.
And that is the one thing that has struggled, David Hess has, keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's allowed 8 runs, and all 8 runs have been driven in on the 4 home runs he's allowed.
And you have to, he understands. I talked to him the other day in Chicago. He said, boy, I have to be better with my fastball command. They were all on fastballs, and they were all in the middle of the plate. Some were in hitters counts, and some, the first home run he threw in Boston to J.D. Martinez, you can't do anything about. There was an inside out fastball right around down by the pesky pole, shortest part of the, even shorter than left field. He got it inside the pole. But the other 2 home runs, as the one it was to Matt Duffy in his first major league start, were just pretty much fastballs in the middle of the plate.
Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, looking on. 24-year-old starter in just his 3rd big league game on the mound. 0-2. And another foul ball. Well, the home run ball, Jim, really has plagued the entire Orioles staff on the year, the relievers and the starters. Here are the highest percentages of runs allowed by home run, and the Orioles are 5th in all of baseball at just over 45%. You see the major league average is 40, and that's right where the Rays are. They're right in the middle of the pack.
Well, except that the one number that you don't like is the fact they've given up the most runs at 273 by home runs. So percentage wise, they're not number 1, but runs given up, but they are. That's not a good thing.
Count holding 0-2. And strike 3 called. He hits the outside corner. And a very good start for David Hess. The pickoff help. 2 hits, 1 left. 1-0 O's. Has won $500 for being selected and will win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit in the game tonight. You can play Home Run Rich's scratch-offs and win up to $50,000 or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/homerun. There's the Rays tank out in deep right center field. Very popular for the fans. David Hess, solid first inning. There's Craig Gentry leading off in the second. He'll foul it back 0-1. Susac on deck, and then Rickard. Gentry's got a hitting streak going. He's hitting 5 in a row, and for him it takes a while to compile a streak like that because he doesn't play every day. Slow roller foul.
Yeah, you could start Romo or whatever, but when you know that Yarbrough is going to eventually pitch, and that's the plan, so you know who's coming in. And you know, the first game that Romo pitched, he pitched 2 innings. The second one, he was relieved by Andriese in the second. But this kid throws a lot of strikes. He's not overpowering. He's won at all levels. 4th round draft choice. Again, the ability to throw the changeup. It throws the changeup about 27% of the time, so it can be very effective. Slows the bat down, makes the fastball seem a little bit firmer. And there's the change, and he went for it. Didn't even seem like it was a good one, but it obviously must fool him. It looked to me that he slowed his arm down, but then I'm watching here on the screen, and Craig Gentry's trying to. But you could see again that part of pitching is when you do throw the off-speed stuff, stay, especially if you're 0-2, stay off the plate. See what the hitter does.
So the first strikeout for Yarbrough, and here's Susac. Susac now in his 5th game with the O's. A couple of hits and 14 trips to the plate. A ball and a strike on Andrew. Chance Sisco caught 3 straight games in Chicago, including the day game after the night game.
Yeah, he caught 14 strikeouts at a complete game yesterday. Nice little cutter right there in on your fist. So it's a nice way. You know, 91, when you have a great changeup, will probably seem more like 95. If you can cut your fastball off it, it's a good way to get inside on the righties. Changeup gets them out on their front foot. They're kind of in and out. Yeah, there's the change. And I'm sure that's why they were interested. So what? Durham last year, 13-6. hardly walked anybody. Almost struck out more than one an inning. 12-4 with the Mariners at Double A. Yep. At the outside corner, a little backdoor cutter.
Susac doesn't agree. Back-to-back Ks and 2 down.
I don't know if it was that or I think he was just the fact. I mean, look where the target is, and he just kind of misses and takes one look. So I mean, that's right over the outside third of the corner, or maybe even the quarter of the plate. But when you're going to make the trades, Jim, you got to have the pro scouts. They have like 14 pro scouts. Because they're always trying to look at young guys and try to, okay, you know, how do you find this guy? Well, yeah, you can go on the computer and say, well, this guy is 8-4 at half, you know, at the midway in Double A and in the Southern League. But hey, how about the guys that actually see him? And you go, hey, this guy could play up in the big leagues because he's got the ability to stay out of the middle of the plate and change speeds. So you bring him to the big leagues. You're trying to rebuild. You traded away a number of your starters. You give him a chance to pitch.
And a strike taken by Joey Rickard, so the count to 1-2. Joey 4 for 18 on the road trip. Sounded like he broke his bat.
Oh yeah, well that's that little cut fastball. He stays out there long enough, you can go through 2 or 3 bats. Right in on the fist.
Yarbrough last worked in the Romo start in Anaheim last weekend, so he's on the same program. Romo pitched 1 inning and then Yarbrough got the win. He went 6 1/3 in relief.
And that's against a primarily right-handed hitting lineup. You know Socia didn't change his lineup, did he?
Hooked down the line. Long run for Miller. He just can't get just out of his reach. Real good effort.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, he's a former shortstop. He's playing first. So he's got range and speed.
And 2 outs, nobody on. And the changeup bounces in.
But see, to throw that pitch, Jim, you have to get over your front side. You want to, if you're going to miss, you want to miss down in the strike zone. And then, of course, by doing that, then you feel, what do I need to do to make a little bit better pitch or break it back up into the strike zone? So a lot of cut fastballs. It gives you a little bit extra movement, even though the velocity may be 2 or 3 miles per hour slower.
A stubborn at bat here for Joey. He's about to see an 8th pitch. And he got him. He strikes out the side. So Yarbrough has come on. He's retired all 4. Mid-second at the Trop. 1-0 O's. 28th through the 30th, and you can kick off summer with a special 105 Memorial Day matchup. All fans will receive an Orioles Memorial Day t-shirt. Plus, on Wednesday, the finale of that series, first 20,000 fans 15 and over receive an Orioles cooler backpack presented by Visit Sarasota. Get your tickets at Orioles.com. Those fans here at the Trop. A lot of folks relocate to Florida. They like the weather. Here's Matt Duffy, and he'll foul it back. There's Duffy hit the 3-run home run.
Off at David Hess. Yeah, I have a couple of singles, and then left center hit it well. Wasn't over the 364. It was about 385 feet.
Center field for Jones, and he's got it for the out. One away. Well, this is already the third series between these teams, Jim, and each team has done well in one series each.
Yeah, first down here at the Trop, and you can see batting average is about even, and runs scored high. The Orioles got 17 in one of those games. Runner in scoring position number, something the Orioles aren't quite as good as the Rays, but against them they are. And then starters ERA, even the bullpen's not where you want to be, even though 3-3. Malik Smith will hit second here in the second.
Malik's was in the number 8 spot until Denard Span was no longer a Ray. Denard was to lead off tonight.
Well, he's already got, what, 13 infield hits, 3 bunt hits. If he gets on, it can be a double. He's stolen 11 out of 12.
One pitch. It's right there for a strike. 2-2.
And the type of guy that I remember when Whitey Herzog had Vince Coleman, he said, you know, when you can run like him, and of course he stole what, 108, 109 in consecutive years, you're always going to get good pitches because nobody wants to walk you. An unintentional walk, so to speak, by David Hess to Malik Smith.
So one out base runner, and we invite you to savor the flavors of Sarasota, Florida, from fresh seafood to world-class cuisine. Just visit savorsarasota.com. Just down the road, spring home of the Orioles, and here is Daniel Robertson, who's playing at shortstop. And a pop-up. Who's it going to be, Scope or Manny? They're both calling, and it's Scope with Manny mimicking the catch behind him. Well, David Hess made his major league debut May the 12th against the Rays, and as the 26th man had to be optioned down after the game. Well, the Orioles told him, you know what, your wife is graduating college tomorrow, so take your time, get into Norfolk. And here's the picture that David posted with his lovely wife, Devin. That's his Instagram account. His wife graduated from the University of West Virginia the day after his major league debut. So she was in Baltimore to watch him pitch. He was in Morgantown to watch her get a diploma.
Yeah, I think the whole family, they kind of headed, as you mentioned, they headed north, and then they went back to Baltimore, and then up to Morgantown. And he said he had a huge throng. I mean, I didn't do the game, but I was watching. So exciting moment. I mean, not only to have your family there, but also to, you know, first major league win.
I was on radio that day. They were sitting right below Joe and I.
A lot of noise.
Oh my goodness, it was so refreshing to see. They were so proud of him. And of course, he got a win that day.
So do you run with Field, who has a little pop? You know, and part of it, you know, if you're going to be a starter, whether it's for Buck Showalter, but especially for Buck Showalter, you better get the ball to the catcher in a hurry. You better be attentive about holding runners. I mean, that's all part of the deal. You know, if another team with, and again, they probably know he's pretty quick. So do you slide step? Can you throw over?
We always talk about Miguel Castro. He's very deliberate because he's about 1/6. That's probably 3/10 of a second too much.
Swing and a miss. Let's get a look at our league leaders, brought to you by Coons. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Well, they're the rookie batting averages, and there's Johnny Field on the list.
Yep, he's got a little pop. I watched him hit a home run. Of course, we saw Wendell, and you get 2 strikes on him. He singled up the middle. They got him from Oakland. Of course, Ohtani, kind of the talk of baseball. But how about Gleyber Torres? You know,
he keeps passing things Mickey Mantle did.
Yeah.
You know you're off to a good start when old number 7's name keeps coming up. 0-2 the count on Field. And by the way, Jim, I just want to conclude the story about David and his wife Devin graduating. David was very appreciative of the Orioles organization for allowing him to go to the graduation. They could have said, nope, I'm sorry, you got to report to Norfolk, but the Tides were on a road trip. He wasn't going to pitch for a few days anyway, and the organization said, this is important for you and your wife, go watch your graduate. So he was very appreciative of the organization for allowing him to do that. There goes Malik Smith, delayed steal, the throw, the tag, he's out! What a throw by Susac. A delayed steal, and Susac a P to second base, and Scope applies the tag. So the walk, but none left. We are through 2. Fine defensive play to end it. Sox, how about this? Hanley Ramirez designated for assignment today. That makes room for Dustin Pedroia, who comes off the DL. Ramirez now 34-0 for his last 20, including an 0 for here last night against the Rays. Did have 6 home runs and 28 RBIs, 44 games. Blue Jays, they've lost 9 of their last 11. And look at that ERA in the month of May. The worst in the major leagues. And it could be that the Blue Jays may begin to look to trade sooner than later.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that in the press room. And Tim Beattie, who used to be the general manager of the Orioles, of course, he scouts for Toronto. I mean, they have some guys with a lot of value. You know, Ty, every time, you know, this man trade and, you know, Colomé, who led the American League in saves with 47, they go to Seattle. So this trading period has opened up early this year with some clubs out of the race.
And Cini fouls it off the other way.
But they have guys that have value. I mean, obviously Donaldson, even though he's, you know, had a shoulder problem, he's going to be a free agent. Jay Happ. I mean, Happ can pitch a little bit. You know, Estrada's struggling, but he hasn't had he didn't have a good year last year.
Yarbrough on relief of Romo, who threw 14 pitches, 12 strikes to get 2 outs. And he allowed the Orioles run on the 2-out hit by Valencia.
Yep. See it.
Strike 3 called.
Little cutter. You give up on it. You know, they haven't. He didn't pitch against them in Baltimore, I don't believe. And I mean, the target's there, but it's just about movement. I mean, he gets plenty of the plate. And just kind of in and out. They know he's got a change up. boys need to make an adjustment unless they plan on winning 1-0.
Here's Adam Jones, who started the rally in the first with a 1-out single. So Adam has been a part of the last 4 rallies for the O's. 3 yesterday in the first 3 innings, and here tonight.
Yeah, Ryan Yarbrough, he's doing his impression of I got a dinner date about Mark Burley. Of course, we just came from Chicago. They love him there because when was the last 1 hour and 57-minute game? There's another good changeup.
Well, Ryan Yarbrough, he was born on a New Year's Eve, December 31st of 1991. And he is a native of Florida, so he's got to be thrilled to be back here. Born in Lakeland, grew up in Winter Haven. Jones fights it off to stay alive at 1-2.
Yeah, it really becomes difficult when a guy can pitch to both sides of the plate when you get the 2 strikes, because you got to cover soft. That's the changeup. We haven't seen really much of a breaking ball, more of a cutter. So you got to cover up and down, in and out, hard, soft. But until then, maybe this is what's going to happen against Yarbrough. They're going to have to either, look away, take the ball in, don't swing at it, and hope he makes a mistake out over the plate or in the inside half. A little lucky right there,
sure
right out
did.
of foul tip that Ramos can't hold.
Talk about just getting a piece.
Yeah, you can see the 2-seam spin.
Wow.
There it is. Just nicked it into the webbing. And then there you go. You got 1 pitch out of the plate. Now 2 strikes. He just cuts it in on your hands. It's like this kid's been pitching for 5 or 6 years. But that's not the kid. I mean, at this level.
26 years old. He went to Old Dominion. How about that? Grew up in Florida, and he goes up to Virginia. Wanted to follow Justin Verlander's footsteps.
Who doesn't?
There's another base hit for Jones. That was a real good at-bat there as Adam gets on with a 1-out single. Let's continue our MLB notebook and get a look at the rest of the East wins. How about the Yankees? They've won 13 of their last 15 home games. They're home tonight against the Angels, tied with the Phillies for the best home record in the majors, and they're averaging almost 6 runs per game in those home games. That is the most in the majors. The Red Sox are in first place in the division by a game over New York. Here's Manny, flied out to right field, his first at bat. Ball 1 inside. Yarbrough has never faced the Orioles, so all the Oriole hitters are seeing him for the first time.
Well, but they didn't prepare for Romo. They know he throws sliders and fastballs and mostly sliders. But if you didn't watch any film about this kid, because again, he's pitched real well. He's 4-2, low ERA, under 4 runs a game at 354. No reason not to be prepared. Now, hitting him's a whole other thing. but you got to have an idea of how he pitches.
Here's the 2-0, bounce to third. Duffy to second out there. Wendell back to first. There's a double play to end the inning. So base hit, none left, mid-third. 1-0 O's. Game hosting the Inner City Tampa 11 and under team. They are all guests of his Givens Back Foundation. So pose for pictures before the game. And one of the finest young men you're ever going to meet, Michael Givens. And they are here in the stands enjoying baseball courtesy of Michael Givens. So nice job by the Orioles reliever, and a nice memory for those youngsters.
Yeah, I asked him if he got home, and he said, no, I'll probably get home tonight, because, you know, Orioles got in late last night. We should be able to see him. I know I know they're here, obviously. Splash of red.
Yep. So David Hess back to work. And a strike to Johnny Field. He was up when Smith was caught trying to steal. The Orioles have 2 outs already on the bases for Tampa Bay. Miller picked off and Malik Smith trying to steal. So that erased 2 of the 3 base runners allowed by Hess. Look at that pitch.
Well, yeah, you saw that, and like we said, he's given up 4 home runs. They're all in fastballs. These are the first 2 sliders he's thrown tonight, and they were good ones.
So 0-2 on Field, and just off the plate. You know, interesting discussion over dinner tonight. And I just listened because it was fascinating. You and Jim Beattie, 2 former pitchers, talking about how you have to navigate your way through a game for that 3rd time when the lineup turns over. And it looks like Hess is doing that. This is still the 1st time, and he gets him on an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, and then, of course, Field can hit a little bit. You know, he's got some power. He's never been a home run guy, but he hit, what, 35 doubles last year. So you know he's a gap hitter with occasional power, and he's shown that this year. Better fastball hitter or slider. Well, we just saw it. Threw him 3 sliders. He kind of waved at him.
So explain the game plan of saving something for the 3rd time.
Well, I don't know if you're going to do that in a 1-0 game, but what you'd like to be able to do is that we saw David do this in the first 2 innings. You know, the double that Miller hit was just a pop fly, kind of whatever. But hey, use your fastball, see if they hit it, and then adjust off that. Down and away, right there.
There's a chopper. Valencia to his left. He has to hurry. Scooped out by Davis on the back end for the 2nd out. So back-to-back outs to begin the 3rd inning. Well, don't forget, this season at Oriole Park, kids cheer free. You can bring young Orioles fans ages 9 and under to Camden Yards completely free of charge. Every adult who purchases a regularly priced individual game ticket in the upper deck is then invited to bring up to 2 children free. And while you're at the ballpark, you can check out the new and improved Kids Corner, which features the Birdhouse. Understand that is fabulous. For tickets, visit Orioles.com/kidsfree. Made from a redwood from California.
Well, there's a pretty good curveball. You know, was kind of watching the game that David pitched. I kind of went back and looked at it, the condensed version on my MLB at bat, and that ball again, another jam shot. Not this time, Mr. Miller.
Gentry gets in on it that time, makes a sliding catch. So 3 up, 3 down inning for David Hess, his first of the night. We are through 3 in a 1-0 game. providing innovative high-value dental and vision benefits to area employers and individuals. Look at that little sweetie. Those fans here at the Trop, hey, she got an autograph. Orioles baseball. Yeah, hey, get out of my shot. I want to smile.
No, I think he's trying to cover the Rays.
Beautiful shot of downtown St. Pete on this Friday night.
Yeah, before the tropical storm that's coming up to Gulf.
Oh, is that right?
Well, that's what I kind of read. I don't know.
Well, when I was at lunch today at the hotel, it started to rain. I was at one of those outdoor restaurants because I wanted to sit outside, and
It's Florida.
I know. I found that out.
88 to 93. It's going to rain sometime.
That's off the end of the bat. Miller, nicely done. He'll get Scope easily. And one down. Well, the fourth inning of Orioles baseball brought to you by the all-wheel drive RAV4. Toyota, what drives you? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. Ryan Yarbrough.
Yeah, you kind of look at the dynamics, and he's 6'5". He's a strike thrower, as we mentioned. He stays right on the third base side of the rubber, so he gives you a great angle. You can see, I mean, his angle is right to the inside corner to the right-handed hitters. Now he can. That's a two-seam fastball, and again, 89 to 90, so he's right over there, kind of like Jamie Moore. A lot of lefties do this, and then of course the changeup. He can run away. He can run the two-seamer, and then he can cut it in like that. And then if you're 6'5" and you have a good windup, they always talk about you don't want the tall pitchers. Number one, if you're tall, can you repeat your windup? You can. Number two, it gives you a nice downward angle. Throw over your front side. Yeah, that's right on the corner. I mean, he can go in and out. Yeah, I was kind of looking. As we mentioned, you got to go out and find these guys. They have 14 pro scouts, 28 scouts, international baseball. 28. Not 8, 28. Chicago had 11. So again, if you're if you're a team trying to look for young players, you got to go see them. And I'm sure he got spotted, and somebody said, "Hey, looks like he has a pretty good idea." And I'm sure the scouting part said, "You know what? Not overpowering, but moves his fastball around, can change speeds in any count. Probably fields his position well. Probably holds runners pretty decently."
Well, 3-2 on Danny Valencia. That ball's ripped foul. When we were in Boston last weekend, I was talking to a scout as teams begin to decide if they're going to be buyers or sellers. And he said the art of scouting when you're trying to rebuild is to find that guy who isn't one of those top 100 guys. Go in there and who's that kid in A-ball and low A-ball that may be able to help you in a few years. This is pop foul. Miller again trying to get back to it, and he just has it go out of his reach. Another fine effort.
Yeah, here, of course, this is a shortstop, and he's going to get it, trying to find it in the roof and not lose sight of it, so he never takes his eyes off it. Now he gets another 20 feet, and then he's got to deal with the mounds, because the mounds are on the playing field, both down the right field line where he was and the left field. Well, you're right about that. And I was talking to Rick Hahn, who rebuilding the White Sox. They have 11 pro scouts. And that's what you're always looking for. There's a changeup. So again, the ability to change speeds in any count, and that's what you kind of look for. It's so easy to. And all you got to do is read about Baseball America. Well, you look at the top 10 prospects, probably 5 or 6, depending on the team, will be pitchers. Pitches from 93 to 95, touches 97, needs to work on the 7 secondary pitches, and those kids are in A-ball.
And against the shift, Davis gets a base hit, and he points to the dugout. Somebody must have said to him, "Hey, Chris, it's legal to hit to left field. How about that?"
Well, he did it the first time. He just didn't hit it that sharp. Well, this is what they were working on a month ago. So, I mean, again, hey, hit it where it's pitched. There you go. And again, part of the deal is exit velocity. The first one wasn't hit hard. The second one was. Now, I know he's supposed to hit home runs, but if you have a solid swing, and we saw it a little bit yesterday, a couple of walks, got hit by a pitch, good approaches both times, home runs come, especially when you're that big and strong. It's just a matter of time.
So he snaps out of his 0 for 21 with that base hit. And a 2-out single gets Gentry up. Mentioned Gentry, Jim, has a 5-game hitting streak working, and he's been working on this since May the 8th. Today's May 25th because he doesn't play every day. He'll get in defensively late in games, maybe not play at all, but he's in there tonight as the Orioles' new Yarbrough would follow Romo.
So does the hitting the hitting streak stop if you don't get an at bat? In other words, you come in for defense and
no, it keeps going. You have to have an at bat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good for Craig.
Yeah. That was like Scope when he came off the DL. He had a hit in the game he got hurt. He had a hitting streak for about a month.
Well, going back to what I was talking about in Chicago with Rick Hahn, who's their general manager, he said, listen, we have 11 pro scouts. They see a team from A-ball all the way to the big leagues, A-ball, AA, AAA, or all the A teams, and they do it twice. We have after our amateur draft, we have those guys go back, maybe talk, see, there's a connection with family. So they do what you just talked about. May not be one of the top 100 guys. Now, if you're going to trade, say, a Manny Machado, you're probably saying, hey, well, we want not suspects, prospects.
Right.
I mean, true prospects. But again, it's the fines.
Well, it's on the last homestand when the Orioles took on the Phillies. And the 1-2 pitches inside. Nick Pivetta. Now, I don't know where he was on the Nationals list of prospects, but when the Phillies acquired him for Jonathan Papelbon, he was pitching at Potomac in the Carolina League, so he was an A-ball. And that young man has some kind of an arm.
Oh, does he ever? And good size.
Now, he may have been on their prospect list. I don't know the Nationals prospects that well, but still, when you get a guy with that kind of an arm and A-ball for a player you were looking to dump his salary, that's a very good move.
Yeah, and I think another thing, when a guy's an A-ball, they're usually projecting, what, 2, 3, 4 years to get to the big leagues for some organization.
2-2 is hit towards third. There's Duffy in between Hop. Takes the short route to get Davis, and that'll do it. Base hit, a man left. Mid-fourth, 1-0 O's. PNC, there's no better time to act than today. PNC, make today the day. Well, Cedric Mullins wants to remind everybody he's just a phone call away at Bowie. And how about that? He's got a 9-game hitting streak going. 444 during the streak, 7 ribbies and 3 steals. And he really is coming on. He's a switch hitter with a lot of speed. And the one thing about Mullins, you talk about a prospect taking advantage of spring training. Every time he got on the field, he got noticed.
Well, he did, and some for hitting, but mostly for defense. And he could come right up to the big leagues now and play. He could play center, he could play right, he could play anywhere. Power, as that said, is from the left side, but last year was kind of because of the hamstring injury early on. It's kind of a lost year, so it's great to see him. I mean, I told him when I met him, reminded me of Al Bumby, because Al wasn't a switch hitter, but the B, 330-ish, AA, AAA, and then first year in the big leagues, 337, rookie of the year.
And he was the first Oriole, the B, to have a 200-hit season.
Well, I know B.J. Suroff had him. I know Cal had 200.
Miguel Tejada. Cal did it a couple of times. Miguel did it twice. And one year he had 199. It's hard to do.
Yeah, Crum with the tremendous power. I mean, all fields. You know, a chance because he was always, you know, I was talking to Chad Matola, who actually was with us for a brief time. He got 14 at bats for the Orioles, the hitting instructor for the Rays, with 1 home run. That's pretty good. You know, per at bat, home run every 14 times up, an outfielder. But anyway, he said this is the perfect place for him.
Had to reach for that one. That's an easy play for Adam Jones.
Nice little breaking ball right there. But you know, playing behind Pujols and, you know, with the long-term key, he was never really going to get the kind of at bats in Anaheim he's going to get here.
Well, don't forget the Birds are hosting the Yankees next Thursday, May 31st through Sunday, June 3rd. And on June the 1st, it is Friday fireworks and music featuring a post-game musical performance by singer-songwriter Elle Winter, followed then by the fantastic fireworks display. Then on Saturday, June 3rd, you can watch the baseball classic The Sandlot after the game. Special ticket packages are available to watch from the field. For tickets, just go online at Orioles.com. He's part of Michael Gibbons' group. 11 and under kids having a good time at the ball game.
Yep. Did he bunt?
Well, Tampa Bay, they, you know, for a rebuilding team, they really put the ball in play. That's among the things they do well. And when you look down, they are second in the American League in team batting. Only the Red Sox have a better team batting average than they do. 262 for Tampa, 266 for Boston.
Well, they hit all the home runs last year. They had, what, 228 home runs. Phil Morrison hit 38. Souza hit 30. Dickerson at 27. Longoria, I think, hit 20. But they were 14th in runs. They only hit 227 with runners in scoring position. So this year they're, what, about 25 points higher than that.
And they're 10th in runs.
Yeah, they're 10th in runs.
12th in home runs.
A little more speed. The mentality is not the same. Brian Anderson, former left-handed pitcher, actually played for Buck Solwater, does the television. He said it's refreshing. They actually play baseball, old school baseball. Now, they're not the Yankees or the Red Sox, but they are what they are, and they're having solid at bats.
The 2-2 is a breaking ball, and I guess it missed low. Looked like it had plenty of the plate.
Yeah, it was definitely low. And of course, you know, you get a guy like this. Oakland didn't need him, so you go get Wendell. Jonah Heim, who actually played for the Orioles, he was sent from Tampa Bay out to Oakland. And right there, if you overswing, you're swinging right through that, because that's a pretty good breaking ball, except it was a ball. So you get, in a 1-0 game, you get a base runner with speed because he lays off a quality pitch.
You know, that's a good point you just raised. The other day, talking with David Hess about the differences that he's noticed in his 2 big league starts, he said, well, up here, they don't chase. They know how to look at a pitch, whereas that pitch there in the minor league game, that might have been an easy swing and a miss because the hitter would chase. They do not do that here, and he understands that.
Yeah, but then you don't want to go 3-2 and throw that pitch. That's what he's going to have to learn, because now all of a sudden you get a guy that's got 4 home runs in the month of May, and you got a guy that can run.
Hanging breaking ball hit into left field.
Yeah, you know, they threw nothing but fastballs the first time, and you talked about trying to change what you do, and that's fine as long as you make a quality pitch. Ramos, as you mentioned, he's been, you know, over 300. He's got, what, a 6-game hit streak now. I mean, he wears out the Orioles. I mean, that's a hanger. You're lucky it stayed in the park. And, you know, the intention is to throw a good one, get a ground ball, and get 2 outs on one pitch. That didn't happen.
So the tying run at second, go ahead run at first with 1 down.
And then you get their best hitter with runners in scoring position, Matt Duffy, to the plate at 353. He hit the home run off of Hess, as you mentioned, in the first start on a fastball. But he's a line drive hitter with occasional power.
There's a fastball for a strike. Well placed.
You got speed at second, and speed and no speed, so to speak. Ramos base to base.
one in the dirt, knocked down by Susak. Going to third. Here's the throw. He is out.
Yeah. Wow, that's 3 times.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, 3 times the defense. This is kind of a box ball by Andrew Susak, but Wendell, you know, you better make it. You're already in scoring position. Nice throw. He hesitated. Tried to scramble his way in, and there he tags him. Now he's going to, doesn't really know. He's looking up the umpire and he's going, why did I ever do this? Well, you're human and you're out.
And Ramos stayed at first, so he's not in scoring position.
Speed and no speed.
Well, ball and a strike on Duffy. 3rd out on the bases for the Rays. 94 on the outside corner. Now, when David Hess was going through the Orioles minor league system in 2015, he went 9-4 at Frederick, but he started that year 2-4, and he won his final 7 decisions, and that earned him a promotion in 2015 to Bowie, and he was very valuable for the Bay Sox in their run to the Eastern League Championship that year. So he really grew up in a hurry over the course of 1 season. A tough start, a real good finish, and a foul ball. And in the playoffs, Jim, that year, he started the clinching game in the semifinals. He beat Altoona 7 scoreless innings. And then in the finals against Reading, they were in an elimination game. They had to win to force the next game. He pitched and won that game. 7 strong innings. He allowed 1 run. So a lot of valuable, sure, minor league, but in pressure games in the postseason. And he earned his way there because of that strong finish at Frederick. 1-2 the count holding. And a weak ground ball to Scope, or excuse me, to Manny. He'll go to Scope, and that'll do it. So a hit, a walk, but 1 left. We are through 4. Pitchers duel, 1-0 O's.
For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Back here at the Trop, 1-0 game. O's got that run in the first inning on a 2-out RBI double. And the inning was extended because of a wild pitch on a swinging strike 3 to Jonathan Scope that would have ended the inning. Sergio Romo was in then. And here is Ryan Yarbrough about to go back to work in the 5th.
Boy, has he been good.
He's allowed 2 singles but no runs over 3 1/3 in relief. Susak will lead off, Rickard on deck, and then Mancini.
It's really it should be the semantics. Yarbrough starting in relief of Romo.
Correct.
Because that's really the way it's. They don't put him on. You know, we don't get our normal in the press notes that he's the guy, but he is the guy. And the thing about him is that they really, you know, as you go through the order, and of course, you know, 197 the first time, 217 the second time, and then supposedly it's supposed to go up. It's actually only 200, but he's only faced 15 hitters the third time through the order. And of course, if you start somebody else, you get deeper into the game where you can go to the back end of your bullpen. And that's another one of the things that Kevin Cash is trying to do.
Well, tomorrow they will start reliever Ryan Stanek. Looks towards the gap in left center field. Over is Ref Snyder, diving, trying. He doesn't get it. And backing up perfectly there was Malik Smith. So that's a long single.
Well, Andrew Susac doesn't run well. I mean, that's got. I mean, that's an understatement right there. That's a double anywhere else, and I'm thinking, okay, right here, you're going to be around. I mean, great Ref Snyder. You know, we saw him with the Yankees out of Southern California, trying to track it. Kevin Kiermaier on the disabled list with a thumb injury, and you think it's going to be a double, but it isn't.
Nice job there by Malik Smith. So here's Joey Rickard. Matt Duffy pinching in at third. Orioles rarely sacrifice. Rickard fouls it off.
Well, you can't hit one. The late Charlie Lau, one of my teammates, went on to be one of the great hitting instructors. The area of maximum vulnerability to the right side if you're a right-handed hitter with a man on. You either get a base hit because you can see they're playing way up the middle. You move the runner over. Maybe you get him to third. Susac, that might be difficult again because of the lack of speed.
Tries to go that way and just fouled.
And like I said, you have to. This kid on the mound, Yarbrough, he's good enough. You either got to take the outside half or the inside half until you get the 2 strikes. Things change now. Now you got to protect because he's pitching both in and out. And the reason the league average is around 176 every year, that's under 200, is because you have to cover everything. So why would you ever want to hit like that until you get the 2 strikes? Especially when he's moving the ball around. So here you battle, and it's tough to get hits with 2 strikes.
Popped it up again, trying to go that way. Wendell has a play, and Brad Miller cuts in front of him, and the first baseman has it. So 1 down. Trey Mancini takes on the Rays today by AARP.
Well, he loves to hit here. Well, in fact, last year he loved to hit everywhere, didn't he? He had a great year. The numbers, I was looking at his numbers yesterday, Jim, and talking about it in Chicago. Last year, they have this batting average on balls in play. The league average is 300, so he's right around there. Last year, of course, he was 352. So one of those exceptional years. And the other difference is the RBIs per at bat are down because last year he had 340 with runners in scoring position, and this year, like I told him today, I said just forget about what's happening and start tonight. Because they're real low. They're right around 100.
Well, you look for signs. He does have hits in the last 3 games, 1 in each, but still 3 straight games with a hit.
Well, he always gets hits because he's a good hitter. Now, is he going to hit 340 every year with runners in scoring position? That's hard to do.
1-1 the count with Susac on at first.
But again, Yarbrough is so good at changing speeds. You're thinking, and you very rarely throw the fastball by Trey, but he's real late on that because in the back of his mind he's still saying, oh, is this going to be a fastball changeup? I don't think they can tell the difference.
And the 1-2. Oh, he was late. Fastball upstairs at 87.
Well, he's throwing him a changeup, he's throwing him a fastball, and this is a cutter. It's a little extra move. You're trying to catch up. It's 2 strikes. You could see him raise his hands. So the idea is there. It's just too good a pitch. Very impressive, this young man.
Adam Jones, all of a sudden he's on a tear. 3 hits yesterday, 2 for 2 today. He has hits now in 18 of his last 20 games.
Well, he's on a mission, so to speak. What's he going to be, 33?
Yep, in August.
Yep. 11th year with the Orioles. Am I right there? I think.
Yes, you are. It's towards short. That's Robertson. And he will go to second base. And the force on Susac. Mid-5th at the Trop. Good game. 1-0 O's.
6 runs on the road, so you need a little extra help. Scope swings through the slider. Ramos can't get it, and then Valencia, Danny V, finds a hole down the right field line. The Orioles will take a 1-0 lead. Jones at single, Miller with a double. They pick him off, and then right here you got an aggressive runner. Susak with a great throw to get Malik Smith, who has 11 steals as he tries to go on the potential wild pitch. Those are your Geico highlights. 15 minutes to save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
Those fans here at the Trop, they have good seats.
Well, that's usually not too tough a ticket here.
Here's Malik Smith to lead off against David Hess.
No high strikes tonight. And Ben May, first time I think I've seen him umpire, very consistent. Looks like he's actually being fair with both the pitchers and the hitters. Making the pitchers throw him over. I think they know what the strike zone is going to be.
Well, Smith walked his first at bat and gets ahead 2-0.
Yeah, not a good idea to get this guy on with a 1-0 lead, and I'm sure David Hess knows that. There are some guys that sometimes, you need to throw strikes, and sometimes that makes it a little more difficult.
All 3 outside. Well, Malik Smith is from Florida, so he's back in his home state. He grew up in Tallahassee, and he was traded to Atlanta on January 11, 2017, and then to Seattle. And on the same day he was traded to Seattle, he was traded to Tampa Bay.
Well, a speedster. And he can, his speed can change the game. As we said, 13 infield hits, 3 bunts, 11 steals. Anytime you walk him, potential double.
Orioles fans, when the O's score 5 runs or more, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com with the promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. So the third walk gets a man off for Daniel Robertson. Popped up the scope his first at bat. Smith is 11 out of 15. Extending his lead.
Oh yeah. It's not huge for a fast guy, but it's certainly substantial. Yeah, great angle right here. There you go. Robertson with the ability to drive the ball. 5 home runs. 2 of them in this month. Under 200 at 189 coming in. Yeah, when you get speed on and you walk somebody that can run, you want to throw strikes and hope that you get a double play ball. The more pitches you throw, the more chances to steal. And there's a nice little slider. Kevin Cash, former catcher in 4th year as a manager, he knows all this. So the more time opportunity. We used to go into Kansas City and Amos Otis would get on, and you had Cookie Rojas, one of the great hit and run guys. I figured if I went more than 2 pitches, Amos Otis is going to steal the base. No doubt about it. Good pitch there, inside corner. Our West Coast scout, Roy Firestone, texted me.
Is that what he is now?
Yeah. No, we do have some scouts on the West Coast, but Roy's one of them. He goes talking about David Hess. I've seen worse.
That's a scout's view.
No. He's done a nice job, and he has. I like this kid. I like him because he throws strikes. Now, will he be able to win 1-0? Not too many guys can do that anymore, but take your chance. He looks to me he's attentive. He's got a quick to the plate. It certainly gives. Susak has shown he can throw.
He's doing a good job of altering the cadence as well.
Yeah. Well, you hold the ball, you slide step, you throw over. There are a lot of ways. The best way to stop the running game is to keep the guys like Smith off the base, but that didn't happen. So now you've got to do all the things. And you talked about the fact you come up He got enough innings in back-to-back years. One bad year at Bowie, the next year a good year. So he got to go back and prove that I can pitch at that level, and then this year pitching well at AAA.
Well, he was brought along as the Orioles usually bring high school pitchers along very slowly. He was drafted 5th round of 2014 out of Tennessee Tech. But Jim, he pitched in 96 games in the minor leagues and made 90 starts before that major league debut on May the 12th. And he hasn't gone back to the minor leagues. Well, he did on paper, but he didn't pitch after his debut when he was the 26th man. 0-2 is popped up. Manny backing up. And one away. And what's going on? They're saying Mallex Smith is going to go to second base. And Robertson the first. Was that catcher's interference?
No.
Third base umpire Jim Reynolds apparently called something. Well, Robertson's coming back to the plate.
Well, did he
call a balk? Oh, so he called a balk.
Well, maybe he didn't stop. Well, you don't see balks called too often anymore.
Well, that takes away a big out and it puts the tying run into scoring position.
Well, in a 1-0 game. Okay, so where's the ball? Stopped. I mean, I just don't see a balk there.
Here it is again.
Well, I guess he's saying he stopped and then he went up,
but he's doing that every pitch.
Well, no, that's the point. You know, Mike Cuellar used to lean in and, you know, start his windup, but he did it every time. Now, let's see if he does it again here.
So 1-2 on Robertson. And that one gets through the legs of Scope, and Smith is going to go to third.
Yeah, I think he just missed it. It was on the glove side of the base. Take another look. I mean, he just whiffed it.
And the error is on Scope.
Yeah, they were going to pick him off, so and of course Mallex Smith can run, so all of a sudden, so you get a walk, you get a balk, you get an error, and the infield's coming in.
One and two on Robertson. There's a chopper to third. Valencia has it in fair territory. Tough off balance throw, just got him.
What a nice play.
Wow.
Yeah, I wonder if Buck's going to come out and you know, he didn't do anything to interfere. He just went back to the bag, and Danny kind of hurdles over. I mean, really nice play. Certainly not something you practice.
Manny's critiquing the leaping over Mallex Smith.
Well, you know, that is a Manny Machado play. It's not that, you know, Valencia is not a great third baseman. Manny is. So and again, it's not something you practice a whole lot, and off balance throw right on the money. And once again, they'll bring the infield in.
Johnny Field struck out his first at bat. There's a chopper to Manny. He gets Smith back to the base and then guns it across to get Field. 2 down.
Well, another nice pitch by David Hess. Number one, when you get a young pitcher and you get a runner at third with nobody out, you're thinking, oh, panic, is the game going to speed up? Made a great pitch to Robertson, and here's another slider. Field's a fastball hitter. They struck him out the first time on a slider, comes back with another good one, and he gets 2 outs. So a chance, and again, until you get that third out, a chance to get out of this inning.
There's Rob Refsnyder, who bounced out to third his first at bat.
Well, just don't give him the bunt.
Slider for a strike.
So he has done, as you were mentioning, mixed up his pitches pretty well. You know, and sometimes you don't. If the scouting report says the guy can't hit a slider, you throw him sliders. It doesn't really matter if it's the first, second, or third times. But for a lot of other guys, the good hitters, you have to really mix your pitches up. Perfect fastball, 95. Wow. Pretty refreshing. You're always trying to develop young pitchers in your half.
He's been doing an outstanding job on the corners tonight. He's only struck out 2, but he's held Tampa to 3 hits. Popped up. That'll be back in the crowd, out of play.
And we've seen him go from 92 to 93 to that last 2 pitches 95.
That's a good number for a pitcher. 41. He looks good in it.
And Tom Seaver's number, you know?
No, it's a good number for Seaver too.
We had work for Tom. All the way to Cooperstown. Tom, terrific.
Another 0-2 to Rob Refsnyder. There's a bouncer towards the middle. There's Manny, plays the hop, and Hess pitches out of it. Runner at third and nobody down, and Tampa Bay does not score. We head to the 6th. Our M&T do-ups, Machado, Scope, and Valencia. The day. And by Ocean City, there's no end to the fun you'll have in Ocean City. Plan your trip today at ococean.com. The lovely beaches here on the Gulf Coast. And fans may be vacationing here, see the O's. Here's Manny, he's 0 for 2. Yarbrough gets ahead again on the outside corner.
Yeah, it's automatic.
Weak pop up the other way. It's Wendell.
Well, he just throws a fastball in the outside corner, so, and then he just cuts the ball in on his fist. And he's never going to light up a radar gun. So there's a lesson to be learned here tonight. It's not always about velocity. Now, it doesn't hurt. I remember I did an ESPN game in 1990, and Jim Cott, who, 16 straight Gold Glove, 286 wins, was talking. He was pitching coach for the Reds. He said, if you have good location, good velocity, good movement, you're probably going to end up maybe going to Cooperstown. But if you have two of those, or maybe some nights 3 of them or whatever, you got a good chance.
Scope gets into one. Deep left field it goes, and that ball is gone. Jonathan Scope gives the O's a big insurance run with his 5th home run. And the O's now have a 2-0 lead.
There you go. We saw that Oriole fan early. He's up on his feet. It doubles the Orioles lead, 2-0. Well, Jonathan did hit 32 last year. And of course, you look at his numbers and you can see right there, 442 feet, exit velocity at 107.4.
Our congratulations to our Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, Robert Hill of Baltimore. Another $500 courtesy of Mr. Scope. So Jonathan, Jim, now is hitting 5 straight.
Now you can see, it just ends up in the middle of the plate. He hasn't done that very often. And that would be labeled a mistake for Yarbrough because he hasn't done that very often. And
that is a fair ball. Long throw for Duffy. And then he got him 2 down.
Yeah, Matt Duffy can play shortstop, so he can pretty much go as deep as he wants and still be able to have the kind of arm strength to get him out.
Well, fans, mark it down. The Orioles will host the Red Sox Monday, June 11th through Wednesday, June 13th. And on Tuesday, June 12th, the middle game in that series. First 25,000 fans 15 and over receive a Dylan Bundy bobblehead. So visit Orioles.com for your tickets. That's a good looking bobblehead.
Yeah, Chris is looking back. He goes, really? Probably the first ball that's been out of the zone has been called a strike all night. A little bit low.
That one was breaking away from the swing, so a weak ground ball foul.
And we told you about Ryan Yarbrough. 4th round draft choice before he was traded for. But righties and lefties hit him the same. 205. Lefties have 3 of the 4 home runs, or actually 3 of the 5 home runs now that he's thrown his second home run to a right-handed hitter.
And he got him. Breaking ball down and away. But the O's do get a run as Jonathan Scope gets one out over the plate. And he hits it out to left field. His 5th of the year gets the O's a 2-0 lead. Date in history on May the 25th, 1951, Shibe Park in Philadelphia. Giants rookie outfielder Willie Mays made his big league debut. The 20-year-old goes hitless in 5 at-bats, but he makes 2 outstanding defensive plays. And the Giants beat the Phillies 8-5. And in 1982, Jim Palmer became the 32nd pitcher in MLB history to record his 250th win. He was the 11th to do it with just one team. The Orioles beat the Rangers that day 10-3 in Arlington, Texas. And I don't know, would you run out of gas? You went 8 1/3, and Tippy had to come in for you.
Well, Tippy, wouldn't you let Tippy come in to relieve you with a 7-run lead?
There you go. Good point.
Some guys get all the runs. Not David Hess. He gets 2. Been very, very good.
Well, you went 8 1/3 that day. 3 runs, 2 earned, scattered 9 hits. and Tippy got the final 2 outs. So happy anniversary.
Well, thank you. Changeup, we haven't seen too many of them. He's just pretty much right there. Now we saw a low fastball to Davis, and then Brad Miller says, "You sure that was high enough?" And May, the home plate umpire, says, "Yes." My strike zone. But that's the first changeup he's thrown, and it was a good one.
And he gets him on a breaking ball.
Yeah, if you can pitch ahead and you have 4 pitches. I know Mike Bordick did his first start, and I was watching a little bit of it today, and he go 4-pitch pitcher, and we've seen that. We saw a changeup this inning. We've seen, a little bit off. That's more of a slider, but we saw a curveball a couple innings ago. Fastball command's been great. When he got in trouble with the walk, the balk, and etc., he was able with the tying run to get out of it. So, got to be pretty impressed here.
Strikeout number 3. Here is C.J. Cron. And here's how you like to face him with the bases empty. Another good breaking ball.
Boy, he took a little bit off. You can add him to track with all your pitches. We saw Dylan Bundy do that in Chicago yesterday.
1-2.
Yeah, missed a spot there, but good velocity. So, in the old days, Earl Weaver was one of the few guys when he managed the Orioles that had the radar gun. And if you got, maybe not Cuellar or myself or McNally or whatever, but get some other guys, and if you start losing velocity and you'd stop making pitches, that's when he would go to the bullpen. So if the velocity goes, and he can pitch at 92 because he's done it pretty much all night, they'll pay attention to that.
One and 2 on Cron.
Perfect push, so he goes to 94. So, maybe we have a young kid that over the last couple of years has learned to add and subtract with his fastball.
488 minor league innings.
Well, Cron's got incredible power down in the strike zone too. Dylan Bundy said, "Didn't know he could hit that ball that far." I mean, he golfed one, almost got to the back wall in Baltimore. First time the Rays came to Baltimore this season.
Well, his longest outing for AAA Norfolk was his final outing for the Tides. That was on May 8th against the Durham Bulls, which coincidentally is the Rays AAA team. Can't get him to chase, so the count evens at 2-2. He pitched 7 shutout innings, allowed just 1 hit. And that was to Willy Adames, one of the top prospects of Tampa Bay, who was just here he was the paternity replacement when Joey Wendell was on the paternity list, and he was sent back to AAA with Joey now back with the Rays.
Yeah. A little bit more on that slider, kind of weighted. And again, when you have the ability as Cron, I mean, a lot of hitters, Manny, Chris Davis, Scope, and whatever, to drive the ball the other way, that's part of hitting the breaking ball. Especially with 2 strikes.
So this will be the 8th pitch in this at bat as Cron's spoiling some pitches.
And you don't want to be walking them. Just those extra runs. Another little slider trying to hit the outside corner. Ball out of his hand, so he's not happy about that.
Well, you certainly don't want to walk him when you start at 0-2. So the full count here. Goes off the end of the bat. Rickard is going to circle to it, and Joey has it for the out and 2 men down. Fans, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Ooh, they were having fun on the beach.
Why not?
I love the beach. And here's Joey Wendell.
You love the beach.
I do.
If you're not a Woody Allen, I don't tan, I stroke.
I have no idea what that means.
What was one of his?
I'm half Italian. Of course I get a tan.
Okay. Okay. There you go. Checking.
Well, I grew up by the Jersey Shore. The beaches were right there.
How come you talk so nicely?
You know, I don't know.
Okay. That was a compliment.
Certain words. Certain words.
Thank you, thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you, James. James Alvin.
Yeah, Wendell trying to work the count because he knows a little power on deck.
David Hess, his third big league start. And right to scope. Jonathan plays the hop. And a 3-up, 3-down, 6th inning for David Hess. He is in command at the Trop. We head to the 7th, 2-0 O's. Local independent American Standard heating and air dealer at MidAtlanticComfort.com. And by Antwerpen, get in the game this season with a new Toyota from Antwerpen Toyota. Oh, the St. Petersburg nightlife. This lovely Friday night.
Nightlife. What? Hey, early bird specials here in St. Petersburg. Come on.
David Hess, 6 shutout innings. He is really doing a good job. 82 pitches, Jim, to get through the 6 innings. So Yarbrough back to work. Gentry fouls it back. They don't want to the count on Craig. Susac on deck, then Rickard lower third for the O's here in the 7th. This is so refreshing in this game, Jim, to see 2 young pitchers commanding their repertoires and throwing strikes and really just going right after these hitters.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what Yarbrough does, and I mean that's why his record's 4-2, and that's, you know, they haven't gotten him a lot of runs. Certainly got him enough. He only given up a little over 3.5. And you can see why, because he's got a nice idea and he can change speeds. And just imagine if you're a minor leaguer or a college pitcher and you're going, well, I can kind of do this. I mean, or at least I can. You know, if most pitchers, the average major league fastball is 92, so he doesn't quite touch that, but get you out. Look at that. Drops down a little bit, catches the bottom of the zone.
That is strikeout number 8.
Yeah, he just, you know, the Orioles strike out a lot anyway. He just, and again, he must be deceptive, Jim. because normally you don't take a 2 strikes pitch. You know, Craig Gentry's been around enough. I'm not criticizing him. It's just that normally you try to at least get the ball in play, but not picking it up. And the really only scope for the home run is hit the ball hard. You know, right there, Susac, that ball right in, it got in on his fist. So even if you hit it, you're probably going to break your bat or have a little pop up.
Susac, one of the few hitters in the big leagues, no batting gloves. Likes the feel of the bat on his hands.
Yeah, just think if you're home plate umpire Ben May at that point. Jonathan Scope talking to Scott Coolbaugh, the hitting instructor. Ben May's having a nice night behind the plate because these guys have made it easy.
Weak ground ball past the mound. There's the shortstop Robertson. 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning. Well, calling all tweeters, Snapchatters, and Instagrammers. We invite you to join us for our first Birdland social event of the season. It'll come up on Tuesday, June 26, prior to the 7:05 game against Seattle. Special ticket packages to this exclusive pregame party on the center field roof deck include a Richard Blyer emoji t-shirt plus a Q&A with the Orioles left-handed reliever. For tickets, visit Orioles.com/BirdlandSocial. And we just saw Richard on the bench. Bullpens are close here, so they can hang out on the bench till they're needed.
Having a great year. Likable young man. Very, I mean, you know, you want to have a nice, you're trying to kill toward 10-15 minutes before the game. And down in the dugout, just start talking to him. One of the great things is he came out last year in Boston when he first came up to the big leagues, and he thought he was supposed to do an interview with Gary Thorne. So he walked up to Gary and said, "What are we doing the interview?" And Gary said, "I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I just did an interview with him." And he said it was really good. I had no idea what I wanted to ask. You know, it's one like, "Hey, how's it going, Richard?" And then, you know, 10 minutes later, because he's a smart guy, and it was great.
Well, he's your kind of guy because he told us on a radio interview about 2 weeks ago that his philosophy is he throws the ball to the middle of the plate because he knows it's not going to end up there. That's a Jim Palmer quote if I ever heard it.
Well, that's when you're desperate. He's not.
Well, he's got a slider. He's got a 2-seamer.
Well, yeah, he relies on movement, not velocity. You know, he's very deceptive. Turns his back. You don't see the ball very well.
Rickard towards the middle, and there's a base hit for Joey with 2 down.
And see now, Gentry couldn't do it, but Rickard could cover that outside part of the plate. Just spanks it back up the middle. Turf here in Tampa. So they're just trying to hit the outside corner, and he did. I mean, that ball's probably off the plate.
Found the hole.
Yep. Well, how about the 2 home runs that Rickard hit against the Rays? Both off of Blake Snell, who's having an incredible year. I mean, one was what, right center field, similar pitch to that. So
turns the lineup over for Mancini. Michael Givens now beginning to get loose.
Yeah, pitched twice in Chicago. What, 63 pitches in 2 nights.
Well, Rickard is one of the Orioles who will steal. He has yet to steal a base this year in the bigs.
Well, and again, you know, Ryan Yarbrough is very young, but you better worry about the guy with 2 outs at home plate, because Rickard, if he runs, you know, Ramos has a pretty good arm, but I don't think you're going to be running here. And you need to get Mancini to get out of the inning.
Well, the Rays have had all kinds of troubles this year controlling the running game. They're catching just 10%, and Ramos, he's caught 1 out of 19. That's a caught stealing percentage, Jim, of 5%. They have really scuffled.
Yeah, the league average last year was 23%, so that gives you an idea that. Yeah, I watched him
swing.
You know, a lot of times, you know, in the old days, Jim, when everybody, you know, took infield and outfield, you'd come out and watch the outfielders throw and the infielders throw. So you know, if you were watching the Orioles take infield, which they don't take anymore, very rarely, you'd say, boy, what an arm scope can Machado have. And then, you know, we used to go out there and watch Reggie Smith when we were in Boston. Great arm from right field. But I was watching Ramos throw the ball to second base. Horrible posture. So you got to practice perfect. That's what Cal Ripken used to say. Perfect practice is the way to do it.
That's right. Well, Yarbrough, even though he's a lefty and it's hard to get a lead on him, they're 5 for 5 opposing base stealers in stealing. They've yet to catch a base stealer when he's on the mound. But
well,
that
yeah.
could be in part because of Ramos.
Well, you're right. And then the other thing, you go on your first move off a lefty. And then
you saw Rickard leaning back as that pitch came in.
And he's looking over at Bobby Dickerson. Wayne Kirby, the first base coach, close enough to whisper in his ear what to do. Just out of our camera range.
Pulls it foul. That one ran in on him. Trying to barrel it up and went down the bat.
Well, they struck him out the last 2 times. The first time he went just up about letter high, right around where the stripe is under the Orioles. And Trey tried to catch up with it.
And the 2-2 is outside, ball 3. It's a heck of an at bat. Trey about to see his 7th pitch in this at bat. Adam Jones, a hot hitter, waits on deck.
Well, 92 pitches and what, 65 strikes, 27 for balls.
Rickard goes on the 3-2 and it's hit to short. Robertson will play it to first and Yarbrough gets out of it. So a 2-out single, a man left. 7th inning stretch at the Trop. He's recorded 18 outs without allowing a run.
Yeah, Michael Gibbons still getting loose, and here with the perfect temperature, no doubt loose. You see 83 pitches.
Pops up a breaking ball. There's Valencia. 1 pitch, 1 down. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Well, we invite you to join us tomorrow. More O's action. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Our coverage on Masson begins at 3:30 with O's Extra presented by Ford. And then game coverage at 4 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on Masson.
Well, one pitch, slider that stayed up, and you get a pop-up. So 19 outs now.
Goes right at McDuffie with a fastball for a strike.
Yeah, not getting any high pitches, but a couple of low ones. Looks like Ben May is more of a low ball umpire, and he certainly has established his strike zone. And as I mentioned earlier, very, very consistent.
Now you're a student of windups and follow-throughs. What do you think of David Hess?
Got a really good windup. Very simple. Obviously can repeat it if you're pitching this well. And, you know, there, over the knees.
That was a ball out of the hand, and he still got it swinging a miss.
Yeah, but it was a curveball, not a slider, so it went down. And you know, the curveball, it doesn't go as much laterally, so you can get away and you can get more strikes. That was the amazing thing about the Bundy 14 strikeout game yesterday. Was the night before, Alex Cobb kind of, you know, got the first 7 outs, really good curveballs, then made a series of bad pitches in the 3rd inning, and they walloped all over it.
And that's against the shift down the line. Davis was wide of the bag with the right-handed batter up. Nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's not even a shift. It's more of like, hey, I'm going to play the big part of the field. This is why Duffy's hitting 300. And then, of course, you're on turf, so the ball speeds up. Rickard playing that way. So instead of a double, it's a single. Double play still in order, even though Malik Smith runs pretty well. You know, the Orioles, when you look at the fact that, you know, Britton is coming back from the Achilles injury. You know, Day's on the disabled list with an elbow problem. Pretty much a, you know, maybe a 3-man bullpen that you're going to use in games that you're trying to win, unless it's early on with Miguel Castro, because you're not going to use Blyer, you're going to use Givens, who's getting loose, and then you got the closer Brock. Everybody else, even though, you know, the other day Mike Wright Jr. threw the ball as well as I've seen him throw. Tanner Scott, good velocity. They were all asking about where this kid came from the other day in Chicago.
This is amazing. David Hess can't throw a strike to Malik Smith. He's walked him twice, and he's 2-0.
Like I said, there are some guys, I mean, you know, he's not a big guy, so the strike zone a little bit littler. He's gone, what, 252 at bats without a home run, because he's not a home run guy. Saw him at a home run the left center here last year that, I mean, he blasted.
Well, they list him at 5'10", but I think that's being generous. That's exclusively from the left side.
And they take away the bunt. I mean, Valencia is in on the grass, and because he will bunt.
And that's a double play ball. Manny to scope. Back to first, and safe is the call. He just beat the relay.
Yeah, a ball away, you come out of the box when you have speed very quickly. So, I mean, this is turf, and you still can't turn it over because you get a great jump out of the box. I mean, he's just kind of coasting, and he still beats it out. And that's going to be all for David Hess.
So he gets the congratulations. It's his game to win. Givens comes on in the 7th.
Don't get him a lot of runs, only 2 runs. Ramos down on strikes, fastball low and away. When you got a lead off Klute double, what do? They pick off Brad Miller. And then you can see Fields down on a slider, the same with Miller. And Gibbons will come on. Pitched twice in Chicago. Very, very good the first night. He throws over, just seeing. And again, you know, you want to keep them close, but you need to get the hitter out, get out of the 7th inning here. So the numbers went up because the second night, because the bullpen diminished because of injuries, had to pitch back-to-back nights. Came in a 2-0 ball game and got him out in the 7th and in the 8th inning. The White Sox would score 3 runs and win. Flyer would come in and give up the sacrifice fly. So you can see good numbers across the board, keeps the ball in the ballpark, and the ability to strike you out. But Monday and Tuesday threw 63 pitches. A lot of pitches.
There have been 3 stolen base attempts against Michael. O's have caught 1. The other 2 have made it. Falls behind 2-0.
Well, you really can't. I don't mean, again, I don't mean you ignore them. But you have to throw strikes here because you only have 2-run lead. And then, of course, you get behind Robertson. As we mentioned, he's hit 5 home runs. And he'll be able to look for his pitch here, 2-0.
This is badly outside for ball 3. Well, he was really good on Monday night. 2 scoreless innings in Chicago. And then, as Jim mentioned, 33 pitches on Tuesday night. He allowed 3 runs and took the loss. That was just in 1 inning.
Well, he was good in the first inning. Again, if O'Day was healthy, and if you had Britton, Brock would have come in and pitched the 8th inning, or O'Day. I mean, you were forced to use them in back-to-back nights, and because of injuries and lack of confidence, you don't win many games. You're only 6-21 on the road. If you're Buck Showalter, he pushed the envelope. Didn't work.
Fouls it back, so he gets back in the out count.
Well, for David Hess, I mean, he was marvelous. 3 walks, got the big outs. I mean, he had a runner in third when you had a 1-0 lead, got out of that with nobody out.
Yeah, that was amazing. 3 ground balls. I believe the count is 2-2. There goes Smith, and it's line foul. Or maybe it is 3-2 because he took off casually. I saw the home plate umpire Ben May hold up his fingers, but his body was in between.
Well, the scoreboard has it actually 3-3.
3-3.
Well, that's what it says out there. 3 balls, 3 strikes.
All right, so it was 3-0, so it is a full count now.
Yeah, swung at ball 4, but again, when a guy's throwing in the mid-90s and 96, you're going to chase. Hasn't thrown a slider. That's probably the pitch to throw here to Robertson, but can you throw it over? And that's always the dilemma, I think, for relievers. You know, the good ones. And Michael, boy, he was on a run until that 8th inning, 3-run inning the other night when they pushed the envelope
and he walked him.
Yeah, you could see Ben May almost come up with the right arm. If he's ever going to err for the pitcher's favor, it was going to be on the low strike. And it's low. You can see Andrew Susak. Why don't you bring it up? That was not very subtle, but
he's trying.
Well, no, I understand that, but it was like catch it and then 1/1000 bring it up.
Here is Johnny Field, who was not in the original starting lineup. Then Denard Span found out he was traded after batting practice. Span was in the lineup. He was to lead off and play left field, and when he was traded, Field put in the lineup. Alex Colomé also part of that deal, going to the Mariners. So the Rays trade their closer and their highest paid outfielder. Just inside, 1-1.
Yeah, like we said, Johnny Field, every year in the minor leagues, you know, the last 3, Montgomery, and then AAA Durham. Last year at Durham, 35 doubles, but he's always hit 12 or right around the 12 home run. Watching one of the highlights the other day, I mean, he took a fastball out in Anaheim and drilled it down the right field to the left field line, pulled it. Yeah, Richard Breyer's going to get up and start loosening up for the Orioles. And
the thing about this Rays team, and we saw this in the 2 series in Baltimore, they really work the count.
Yeah, right on call. Yeah. Well, that was a pitcher's pitch. Johnny Fields says, I have no interest in swinging that because I'm not going to do anything with it, and I hope this time, watch this, I can move it over just a shade. The good catchers are actually doing that as they catch the, yeah.
So 2-2 on Field.
Yeah, once again, slider probably the pitch of choice.
And Field has never faced Michael Gibbons.
Ooh,
defensive swing.
Yeah, very defensive hack, as we used to call it. We go out to hit extra once in Milwaukee, and Davey Johnson, manager Davey Johnson. He takes about 10 minutes of emergency hacks like that, and we all walked off the field. We go, we're not wasting our time. But I tell you what, it keeps at bats alive. I mean, it really does. So that was a real good pitch.
Smith and Robertson, you saw second and first. Left field, there's Gentry. And he's got it. So Gibbons will strand 2, and on we go. Our Ram do-up says we head to the 8th. Jones, Machado, and Scope. Two-0 game as we go to the 8th. See, Jim, there's nightlife in St. Petersburg.
Well, there are. No, I mean, from where we stay down on, I guess, one of the bays here or whatever, and you go up about 3 or 4 blocks.
Jones off the end of the bat, and how about that? He's got back-to-back 3-hit games, his 9th 3-hit game of the year.
Yeah, you go like 3 or 4 blocks. I guess there's all kinds of restaurants. And there you go.
You buying?
Well, we go to the hotel. It's very convenient.
And then you're home.
Yeah, exactly.
So Adam Jones, 3 hits yesterday, 3 more hits today.
Well, like we said in the open, lifetime batting average just a shade under 280 in the last couple of years. It almost seems like it's always right around 285. He's trending in that direction quickly. Probably doesn't want to go home. He just wants to stay on the road. Well over 300. Came in at 323. So here you go. You get to see Yarbrough now for the third time. Like we said, the numbers aren't bad because he's only faced the third time through the order 15 times this year.
Now it's time for Lowe's whole team together. Well,
yeah, there you go.
Home runs this season. How about that? Manny's got the lead, of course, but
how about Pedro in limited at bats?
Pedro has 2 multi-home run games this year. Manny's got 4.
Wow.
5-4-3 around the horn.
Yeah, boy, it's just a sound off the bat. He hit it hard, but right at him. Once that happens, easy double play.
Well, here's Jonathan Scope, and let's get a look at our 4th drive of the game.
Well, again, it's the only run that Yarbrough's given up. The first one came off Sergio Romo, who started the game as they tried to get through the first inning with their reliever. So he blasted, what, 435 feet?
Hurry to your local Ford dealers for great savings on cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Yeah, 113 miles per hour on that double play ball. Well, you saw the article today in USA Today that scientists and whatever that they have determined that the ball is much more lively. They just don't know why. Really? I mean, I know.
I saw a professor on the MLB Network trying to explain that.
Well, they couldn't explain it. No, you know, they did cut a ball about 8 balls apart. The core apparently was a little lighter, not as dense, so that. But they said, and then they also said at the same time that there's no, you know, everybody's talking about launch angle, that there's no more discernible launch angle than ever before. Now, I don't know if these guys knew what they were doing, but it made USA Today. That's all that matters. You know, the paper with the colored pictures.
It's a good Friday feature.
No, actually, it's a good Saturday feature because they do whatever they did it on Friday, so you get to read it twice.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So you actually got the newspaper?
Well, for us who get up at a reasonable hour, they're in the lobby early. Now, maybe when you get up, they're gone. They had that. I read the Tampa paper, read the Wall Street Journal.
Wow.
Went by your room. I heard. I didn't know you snored.
You heard prep work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. I wasn't up that late. We had a minor.
I didn't know I snored either.
Yeah, another. Well, no, who does? Unless you're home, and your wife tells you to go in the other room.
Yep. or Bobby tells me to do that. It's for your spaniel.
You got to get a new dog.
He's so used to me being on road trips, he's taking over my side.
You know, here's this gray-haired guy that just walked in.
Hey, Dad, welcome home. There's a guest room down the hall. Meantime, Scope having a real good at-bat, and this ball is trouble. And it doinks in there for a base hit.
No, yes. I was saying you don't want to get thrown out because if they catch it, you're going to be a dead bird trying to go to second. But didn't know that they were going to misplay it. Yep. Yeah, Wendell couldn't get a handle on it. Well, he's happy right about now. He's going, I got another hit. Because he thought he was going to catch it. And that little looper is going to bring Kevin Cash out, and so his starter does a great job.
So a 2-out hit for Scope. Johnny Venters will come on in the 8th.
guys in the National League, and then a series of, what, 3 Tommy John surgeries, goes over 2,000 days without pitching. You know, I mean, he used to have one of the, 95, 90 mile per hour sinker. Now it's not the same velocity, but he still has the ability to, as you can see from the numbers, to get you out. Keeps the ball in the ballpark. What a nice story. In fact, 3.5. Yeah, I guess they did a half of Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, a little tune-up.
A little tune-up. Nice little slider right there, so the velocity down, but he certainly knows how to pitch. And got a good matchup for Danny Valencia, who wears out lefties.
And a strike, borderline pitch, 1-1.
Yeah, he used to have Venners and Kimbrel. That was a nice little duo down in Atlanta before Kimbrel was traded to San Diego and then to the Red Sox, where he's one of the best closers in the American League.
Danny has the other RBI. 2-out double in the first when the inning was extended on the wild pitch on the swing and strike 3 by Scope. Jonathan homered in the 6th for the other run.
Well, I guess the velocity's coming back as he gets more innings. He's always been, before the Tommy Johns, a guy that could strike out more than innings pitched. And against the Angels in Anaheim, threw 30 pitches, as long as he's gone for a while. 2 inning and a 2/3 scoreless.
Right to Robertson at short. He'll get the force on Scope, and that'll do it. So 2 hits and 1 left. Mid-8th, it's a 2-0 O's lead. Other corporate leaders to support Baltimore City's Youth Works program, which seeks to provide as many as 12,000 Baltimore City youth with summer employment. Now, to donate, visit BaltimoreCityFoundation.org and choose Mayor's Office of Employment Development Youth Works. And to learn more, visit youthworks.oedworks.com. So Givens stays on, and he gets ahead of Refsnyder. Miller and Crone on deck.
Yeah, pretty critical out right here when you're a little bit on fumes after. Oops.
And that one's in the corner. It's going to get past Joey Rickard. Refsnyder heads to second with a double.
Yeah, I think if you're not down 2-0, you might have thought triple. Yeah, and here comes Buck because the gas tank is empty for Michael Givens. They're asking a lot. Fastball right in the middle of the plate. He just smokes it into the corner.
And he appears to be upset that he's coming out of the game.
Probably wondering why he was out there in the first place.
So Givens leaves. Blyer comes on in the 8th.
David Hess. 2-0 lead. Man on second. You can see the numbers. Lefties actually hit him better than righties as Brad Miller, a left-hander, will come to the plate.
Well, the tying run is at the plate. So.
Yeah, and I think Buck Showalter, I mean, he knows how many pitches, maybe not exactly how many pitches Givens has thrown. Probably, what, about 77 since Monday. But you're so short in the bullpen because of injuries and whatever that, you know, you figure maybe you'll get an out and then you'll probably bring Blyer in to face Miller, even though he's not one of your prototypical lefty matchup guys.
There's a bouncer to second. Scope will get the out. Wow, that took a long time to develop.
Well, he was looking at the, you know, leisurely. I mean, Bobby Dickerson will say something to him. It's just, you know, he's looking at the runner at third. So, I mean, take him a look right there and just making sure, and then little cadence. But again, Tampa, routine out unless you run hard.
So Refsnyder goes to third, where he can score on a ground out or a fly out. The other thing about Blyer in these situations, the type of pitcher that he is, he's allowed a base hit, at least one hit in 9 consecutive appearances. There's Bobby Dickerson directing the infield. So well, you hope he has one of those outings where they hit it at somebody or he gets a strikeout.
Well, he's aware of that too. And after he gave up the winning run, bases loaded sacrifice fly the other day, I saw him in the lobby. He said, listen, I give up about a hit an inning. And because I had an 0.60 ERA and we have all these injuries, the ball almost gets by Susak. He goes, all of a sudden I'm being used with runners on, you know, totally different than I normally used. And, you know, I don't strike people out. I mean, all you do is look at, you know, what, 25 innings, 11 strikeouts. Doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. Has yet to give up a home run. I'm knocking on wood when I say that. So he does a lot of good things. Just because of injuries, he's been used differently.
Ball's behind 3-0. He may be pitching around Crone to set up a double play, but that does bring the go-ahead run to the plate.
You know, he's trying to make perfect pitches because he knows Crone can hit home runs. That would be a new strategy if he did that. And there's a little backdoor slider. That's his ability. He's going to throw from 84 to, you know, maybe 90. Might top out at 90. Velocity's never been the issue. And I think at this point in the game, Jim, you'll take a run for an out.
Popped it up in the infield.
Yeah.
Scope and Manny.
Come on, boys.
And it's going to be Scope cutting in front of Manny. So 2 down.
Yeah. He goes, don't come on that side of the base. But it's not a laughing matter. You got to communicate. Now, as it turns out, Scope catches it easily. And they are best friends. Just tell him you stay on your side of the base and I'll. Yeah.
So here's Wendell with the runner at third and 2 down. And he gets ahead 0-1. Nice pitch by Blyer. Wendell has never faced Richard.
316 hitter against lefties. So it was a contact guy, as you mentioned. These guys just hit the ball. And, you know, it's not that he, you know, not a home run candidate, but basically he's just trying to make contact. He's got a good speed. And of course, Blyer, he turns his back. You don't, you know, you see 48. You see the name on the back of his uniform, so there's a lot of deception.
Refsnyder at third with 2 down. Blyer gets ahead of Wendell 0-2.
And Brock probably on, you know, on for Ramos because they're not going to pinch hit for him. They may bring Brad in, but hopefully Richard Blyer just does his job.
And he got him. So Blyer comes on and strands the inherited runner in scoring position, retires 3 in a row to end the Tampa Bay 8th. Bears with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by University of Maryland, University College. Looks like the Rays are taking a nap, and just moments ago, Bobby Dickerson, the infield coach, immediately addressing that pop-up with Scope and Manny, and they're like brothers. That's my ball. That's my ball.
Well, it turned out well. And I think, you know, Bobby's concern would be, what if they dropped it? Which they didn't. So Vidal Munoz with the Orioles last year. So he pitched very well down. And he actually started for Durham. And they're all, you know, because they, you know, made the trades, and, you know, last year traded Matt Moore. So those are the numbers at Durham, their AAA affiliate. Oh, strike thrower. We know that. We've seen him over the years. Started for the Yankees, you know, with the Mariners. Had a very good year out of the bullpen, exclusively out of the bullpen there. You know, last year did not pitch well for the Orioles.
Chris Davis singled back in the 4th inning. Nuno was just called up on Wednesday when Jake Faria went to the DL with a left oblique strain. He did that in his start against the Red Sox the other night on Tuesday night. Throws the bat at it. Fly ball to shallow left, and there's Refsnyder, one away in the Oriole ninth. Well, fans, don't forget, MLB At Bat is your #1 Orioles app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Customize your Orioles home screen icon, plus features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day. You get pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. I guarantee it, you will like it. There's Craig Gentry. Gentry 0 for 3. Left field, he got under it. Long run for Refsnyder. Robertson, the shortstop, is there well, and it's Robertson. Nicely done. Somehow they avoid the collision.
Yeah, Refsnyder actually, you know, we saw him when he first came up with the Yankees as a second baseman, so he's got to come a long way. He's over in left center. I got it. I got it. Of course, you can't take your eyes off it because of the roof here. And they're both caught. They don't communicate, and you're lucky nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, especially running on that mound out there.
Okay, well, they were on the bottom of the slope. I guess if you're ever going to. Ed Scully used to, one of his pet peeves, bullpen mounds on the field. Well, and Buck hates it too.
Well, especially here because they have room to put it off the field. They just elect not to.
Oh, you mean down in the?
Yeah, you see right behind where Brad is there.
No, but that's the patio. That's the Hard Rock.
You can put
something
that
patio.
Put that somewhere else, can't you?
We're talking about revenue here, Joe.
Oh.
But you have to make a good point. They probably could sneak it in here somewhere. The hitters would like it. They could bring the fences in. You know, put it behind and bring the fences in. Maybe 30 feet.
Well, where's the place that you can't see the bullpens? They built somehow underneath the stands. I'll find out by tomorrow.
Oh, you mean a new ballpark?
Or they altered an existing park. Check swing, and it's low.
You mean actually on purpose, did they?
Yeah.
Because there's some ballparks you can't really see real well.
Well, Toronto has that high fence, but they have some mesh where you could peek off the end of the bat. There's Wendell. There's Miller. There's Wendell. So 3 pop-ups. The O's go 3 up, 3 down. Here we go. Bottom of the ninth. Brad Brock on for the save. to hit the opener in the series. And here's the closer, Brad Brockham.
They have been pitching well as of late. A little bit of struggles early on, but certainly settled down. Fastball, slider, changeup, and again certainly capable of pitching very well. You can see the left hand, that's elevated. Left-handed batters, keeps the ball in the ballpark, looking for 3 outs before they get 2 runs.
Brad comes on. He'll go through Ramos, Duffy, and Malik Smith. Outstanding job by Blyer, getting 3 in a row.
Amazing.
He inherited Refsnyder at second. He moved to third on a ground out. They got an infield pop up and a strikeout. Brad last worked on Monday, and he picked up a save in a 1-run game. In fact, he's had saves now in his last 2 appearances and in 4 of his last 5. The only one he didn't, he came on for an inning of work against the Phillies.
Good fastball. Velocity has gotten a little bit better. I mean, normally it's 93 to 95. I saw that in the Monday night save. Now, the Orioles won the first game in Chicago. They won 3-2. Rock got the save, and ball just misses. And then lost 3-2, and then lost 11-1, and then yesterday, the Monday game.
It's a big game.
Yeah.
Difference of splitting or losing 3 out of 4. It's back out of play. Okay, I just found out it was Wrigley Field where they moved the bullpens when they did the construction, so they're underneath the new stands. So they took the mounds off the field at Wrigley. Manny waits on the hop, has plenty of time with Ramos running, 1 down.
Yeah, Wilson, knee surgery, came back last year, so speed, he's not a fast runner. So there's 1 of the outs you need. Out number 25.
Here's Matt Duffy.
And this is a guy, I mean, you got to look at, he sprays the ball around. I don't know if he'll bunt. You would think with Valencia way back, if the report would tell you that, he wouldn't be playing there. They waited a long time, traded Matt Moore to the Giants for him, and then that Achilles problem that they thought he'd come back and be able to play last year, but that really wasn't the case.
Well, when they made the trade, they figured he'd be their everyday shortstop because they had Evan Longoria playing third. Played in college at Long Beach State, which coincidentally is the same school Evan Longoria went to.
Well, they did divest themselves of a lot of salary in about, 2 months? The last offseason.
And there's a base hit. So that allows the tying run to come to the plate.
Yeah, late on the fastball, and I'm not saying he shouldn't have thrown it because his changeup's usually so good, but that one stayed up, and Duffy all over it. So the Rays get the tying run to the plate now. And with Smith, with 3 bunts and infield hits, it's still about trying to get on some way. As you got Robertson, a little bit of pop waiting on deck.
Well, Brad, in his last 2 appearances, getting saves, an inning and a third in Boston. So he got the final out of the 8th and then got the 3 in the 9th. He faced 6 batters in that one. And he also faced 6 batters Monday in Chicago, even though he pitched just the 1 inning. And that's because he walked 2 and he gave up a hit.
We had first and third, I believe, and got him out of it.
And another base hit just going the other way.
Well, it's funny. You talked about it early. You know, you talked to Chapman Mottola last year. He said we hit 228 home runs and we were 14th in runs scored. This year we used the whole field. I mean, that's a good pitch, but a bad result. Good result for Smith because he hits it exactly where it's pitched. That's like old school baseball. This is why it's so hard to close. You know, you play, 8 in a third innings. You got to lead, and your job is to come in and somehow get those final outs.
So Daniel Robertson now. Plus, with Malik Smith, the trail runner, with his speed, a ball to the gap, this game's tied.
Oh yeah, and that's probably you might play a step deeper. I mean, you still got to catch because you need 2 more outs where you can get it, but you don't want to have a ball go up the gap. But here, if they hit one up the gap with any kind of velocity, you're right, he is going to score. But you're not worried about the runner at second. You're worried about the runner at first and the runner at home.
Popped him up. It's playable for Rickard. 2 down. There's out number 26.
Yeah, good fastball, a little life.
Right fielder, number 10, Johnny Field.
You know, it's funny, it comes in when if you're Brad Brock, you got a good fastball, you got a good changeup. I would think, to me, he's got a good slider, but the changeup is probably his best secondary. So you throw it, Duffy gets it for a base hit, then you throw another one to Smith, he hits it, and then you go back to your fastball and you get that 26 outs you talked about. So now you have a good fastball hitter, and the pitch of choice for David Hess to Johnny Field was a breaking ball. Let's see if he throws it.
Field has never faced Brad Brock. 92.
Well, Brad Brock's about 6'5", and he's got a funky windup. So if you're right-handed, there's a lot of stuff going on. And again, he hadn't thrown a slider yet, but when he does throw it and he gets on top, it can go straight down. It can be really good.
Just missed.
And of course, Andrew Suzak does. When you get a veteran, a guy like Brad, he's going to make the decision what you want to throw. But it's not like they've worked together a lot.
Right. Yeah, even in spring training, because of that staph infection, Andrew missed some time early on. Overthrows that one badly. 2-1.
Yeah, hasn't thrown a slider, and again, that's the pitch you want to throw, but you don't want to speed the bat up either. So it looks to me he's just trying to throw that ball low and away. He missed with the last one. Because he's thinking probably just what you talked about. You don't want a ball up the gap.
Big pitch here, 2-1. Low by him.
Yeah, again, and location is so important when you get into the fastball counts. Doesn't mean you have to trick them. Stay down. That ball pretty much down the middle. But it looked to me Field was trying to maybe do a little bit too much with that, trying to hit a home run.
So 2-2 on Field. Tying runs are on with 2 down. Popped him up. Chris Davis in foul territory. He has a play and makes the catch, and the Orioles win it. And for the first time this year, the O's win a game when they scored just 2 runs. And what a job by the pitching here tonight as they shut out Tampa Bay. Well, we invite you to join us tomorrow. More O's action, game 2 of the 3-game series. Our coverage on Masson begins at 3:30 with O's Extra presented by Ford, and then game coverage at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Tonight's telecast has been a Masson presentation. Now for Jim Palmer and our entire hardworking crew, Jim Hunter saying so long from Tropicana Field. Once again, our final score, the Orioles win at Baltimore 2 and Tampa Bay 0. Tom and Rick come your way right after this short break on Masson.